Welcome to Saturday Morning Meeting for Suppliers, presented by 8th and Walton, the premier destination for supplier development, and sponsored in part by Dun & Bradstreet Credibility Corp., the leading provider of credit and credibility solutions for businesses. Our show aims to provide suppliers with answers to burning questions or to pose questions you didn't realize you needed to ask. Take our feature segment, for example. How do you know if your CPG campaign will be a hit or a miss in a specific market, or if your inventory is low? Anibal Cedero of the University of Arkansas offers answers. But first, our headlines. Students at University of California Davis Law School got to spend some time with Scott Jorgensen, Walmart's head of global compliance, at a recent symposium. According to sfgate.com, Jorgensen spoke of the challenges of developing a compliance culture within a huge organization like Walmart. Jorgensen noted that Walmart has spent over $100 million over the past 2 years in hiring compliance staff and reevaluating corporate policies and procedures. While he acknowledges that compliance efforts are costly, he also believes that a long-term commitment to compliance is necessary for Walmart's long-term health. Walmart, GNC, Target, and other stores are on alert after the New York Attorney General warned them about the possibility that they are selling bogus health supplements. According to a report from KSL.com, the Attorney General's office has been investigating herbal supplements sold in many stores. Lab tests have shown that many of these supplements do not contain the herbs listed on their labels. A Walmart spokesman stated that Walmart is taking these allegations seriously and is reaching out to the supplement suppliers to get more information. The relationship between Walmart and Alaskan Fisheries has had some challenges over the past few years, mainly due to conflict over sustainability standards. All that appears to be in the past, however, as Walmart recently announced that it will be adding more Alaskan wild-caught seafood to its stores in Washington State and Alaska. In its press release, Walmart noted that it has also entered an exclusive distribution partnership with The Alaskan, a family-owned fish and seafood company that sells fish fillets as well as sandwiches and fish burgers. As the fiscal year begins, so do evaluations of departmental budgets and staffing needs. 4029TV.com reports that Walmart headquarters laid off 50 workers from multiple departments in January. Walmart did state that it expects no further layoffs this year and that affected workers were invited to apply to other positions within the company. Some big non-Walmart retail news. USA Today reports that office supply giant Staples will be acquiring Office Depot. Both companies' boards of directors supported the purchase, though the FTC still has final say over whether the deal actually goes through. If the FTC does approve the sale, the takeover should be complete by the end of 2015. Small business owners are the lifeblood of the American economy, which is why Sam's Club offers a full range of support services to entrepreneurs and business owners. Members in several states, including Texas, Missouri, and Georgia, will soon have the opportunity to meet small business expert Melinda F. Emerson when she visits their clubs in February and March. Emerson will be signing her new book, Become Your Own Boss in 12 Months, a month-by-month guide to a business that works, and offering free presentations how small business owners can save money and time. In addition, Emerson will also speak on how to become your own boss at each store. After these brief messages, Marie Chevrier of the Sampler app shares how suppliers can achieve an effective sampling campaign.
Retail Solutions is the market leader helping advance reporting and analytics with Walmart suppliers around the globe. We manage the data for you, automate data integration, attribution, and reports, and then help you focus on activities that will drive the most value. To do this, RSI works with you to perform a business value assessment to identify the largest value opportunities in your business. If improving results in sales through better insights and execution and efficiencies are important to you, contact RSI today.
We all have large libraries of data. Unfortunately, most companies never read what is in their library, but instead settle for top-line reporting. Beyond software that just automates, when we open our minds to being curious and creative with data, we discover the insights that build into remarkable ideas which deliver business growth. Here at the Harvest Group, we do just that. Open up your rich consumption data into a set of priceless ideas that grow the business. Are you ready to unlock the ideas buried in your data? Let the Harvest Group take a look at your business.
Are you a single parent struggling to meet your family's needs? Single Parent Scholarship Fund is here to help. Single Parent Scholarship Fund of Northwest Arkansas helps hundreds of single parents get an education. By providing scholarships and support, a brighter future is right around the corner for you and your family.
We should know, in 2007, I graduated with my bachelor's degree in organizational management. Single Parent Scholarship Fund helped make my dream a reality. My kids are so proud of me, and now they declare themselves as college-bound.
Become a smarter supplier. Take 8th and Walton's Beginning Retail Link class. Designed for both the beginner and the super wanting a refresher, this course takes a hands-on approach to the most common aspects of Retail Link. In this one-day course, you'll learn how to navigate Retail Link with ease, how to personalize your dashboard, and how to build a basic query. Become a smarter supplier. Contact 8th and Walton today.
This week on Retail Edge, we've got Marie Chevrier, who is the founder of Sampler. Welcome, glad you're here.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and Sampler.
Yeah, so I started my career in agency. So I started at J. Walter Thompson, where I actually focused on the Tim Hortons business. So I am Canadian. Right. From there, I actually had the chance to go into VC, so venture capital, where I had the chance to rotate on different startups in New York City. And that's where I really got fascinated by the product sampling space, and I worked on 3 different startups that were all CPG focused. Got it. Very, very relevant to what we do around here. So how do you see the consumer packaged goods brands using samples today? What are the issues as well? Well, I think that consumer packaged good companies will use sampling to either drive loyalty with existing customers or to drive brand awareness with new potential customers. And right now, what we're seeing is, well, I kind of observed that the industry was still relying on pretty traditional sampling strategies, like in-store sampling or in-store demos, or even still in-mail sampling. Sure. There has been some experiential marketing innovation, but more and more I think that I'm trying to push consumer packaged good companies to gain a little bit more insights on their customers and who they're actually sampling to. And bringing sampling online can really do that. Because they really haven't had visibility in the past as to how effective the sampling campaigns and what are some of the issues that can arise around typical sampling campaigns. So think about an in-store demo. Consumer comes by, picks up a sample, and walks away. You don't gain much insights on exactly how they feel about the product, if they're going to convert into sales, or even if they're going to convert into your remarketing channels to gain some more info about your product. So really moving sampling online gives us the opportunity to gain some data surrounding customers. So what are some examples of particularly effective uses of sampling campaigns that you might want to talk about? I think like any successful campaign needs to start with a target and then a way to measure. If you aren't going to be targeting your sampling strategy, or if you don't have an effective way of measuring your return on investment, then you probably shouldn't be sampling. Have you got some case studies, some examples where Sampler has really improved the situation, made it more effective part of the campaign? Yeah, so we have a product that's Facebook integrated, so that requires consumers to actually connect with their Facebook account in order to send a product sample to a friend. So that's really what makes Sampler stand apart, is we actually ask consumers to recommend a product sample to a friend and not actually get it for themselves. So using peer recommendation as a vehicle for your sampling campaign is definitely an effective way of doing product sampling. I also really like strategies that start with influencers. So thinking about bloggers that you might be able to influence, or potentially celebrities in the market or something like that. We also really like to see brands that play well with others. So if you're within a category like, let's say, wellness or baby, there's likely brands that are non-competitive that are quite complementary to your brand. And so why not team up together and use each other's audiences to cross-promote? What are the typical demographics of the customers that are compelled by sampling campaigns and samples? Who's the real customer here? So on Sampler, I'd say that about 90% of our users are women. We've seen a lot of women, especially moms, that have loved sharing products with other moms for baby or for the household. And so that would definitely be the niche market for product sampling.
Have you done some things with campaigns that bundle together for example, baby focus?
Yeah, so we run the Ultimate Online Baby Shower, which happens twice a year. And basically what we do is we team up different brands from, well, let's say in this case, the baby category. They're all complementary brands. They don't compete against each other. So you could have a diaper brand on Monday, and on Wednesday you might have an organic baby food. The idea is that it becomes kind of an online scavenger hunt for all of the best baby brands. And we're looking to do that in the wellness category and for other seasonal activities like Mother's Day or Father's Day as well.
Oh, very, very interesting. Where's all this going over the next 5 years? How do you see all this sorting out?
Right, so as more and more CPG companies are starting to focus on data, I think that there's a huge market opportunity or a technology opportunity for us to start benchmarking different companies' results against others, and also gaining a lot of insights on how consumers' brand sentiment is growing from product sampling. So that's really where we're hoping, the space we're hoping to play in.
Fantastic. Have you enjoyed your trip down to Arkansas from Toronto?
I have. I am really amazed by all of the innovation and the great leadership that the consumer packaged good and retail has here. And yeah, everyone's been very welcoming.
Well, thanks very much for coming down. We really appreciate having you on the show. And that's it this week for the Retail Edge. Coming right up will be the remainder of Saturday morning meeting.
I think our MBA is different in several aspects from the traditional online MBA programs. We're teaching a methodology that has proven to win. In our school, learn something on Monday, and on Tuesday morning, put it in practice. It's real stuff with real action to accelerate careers.
Bentonville Commerce, less than 1 mile from the Walmart home office. You'll love the convenience, amenities, and customized options Bentonville Commerce offers. For more information, call 479-659-1260 today.
Trying to get your product noticed by retailers and customers? Rapid Prototypes in Bentonville can help with packaging, displays, renderings, signage, and much more. They are called Rapid Prototypes for a reason. Rapid turnaround and rapid response time to your needs. Need 2-week turnaround? Easy. Need 2-day turnaround? No problem. Need 2-minute turnaround? Let's talk. At Rapid Prototypes, we're always willing to go the extra mile for you. Rapid Prototypes, across from Cassano's Pizza on Walton Boulevard in Bentonville. Call 479-273-3278.
Become a smarter supplier. Take 8th and Walton's Intermediate Retail Link class. Let us teach you how to extract more valuable information from the vast amounts of data available in Retail Link. In this class, you'll learn advanced report building, historical preference, POS forecasting, and business review planning. Become a smarter supplier. Contact 8th and Walton today.
We have two main topics today: big data in supply chains and using social media data to improve forecasting. With me to share strategies on these topics is Annabelle Sodero from the Supply Chain Department of Sam Walton College of Business. Welcome, Annabelle.
Thank you, Andy.
Yeah, it's good to have you here.
Glad to be here.
So we're going to start with big data first.
Okay, so let me provide you a definition of what big data is. Okay. It's a very specific set of processes that take place as close as possible to real time. And these processes are gathering, storing, processing, and analyzing multiple sets of data that come in different formats, both structured, data that will fit in tables, and unstructured, such as videos, pictures, and even conversations, both online and offline.
Okay. And how is that big data being used in retail supply chains currently? What's happening right now?
Right, so there are many differences. When you move across a retail supply chain, and here we are talking about retailers, suppliers, and the 3PLs. There are different levels of use. So a few firms have just initiated the use of big data, so they're just considering whether or not they should use. Some are in an adoption stage, which is they have made some commitments to use big data, but they're not quite still there.
Okay.
And at the most advanced stage are those firms that have really assimilated the use of big data and incorporated that into their processes.
And have you found, I mean, it really doesn't, does size really matter, or is it really more just some companies are more advanced than others? What have you really noticed in your studies?
Definitely, there are many differences across firms. I wouldn't say that it is about the size, but there are some factors that are important that we need to consider. I would say that one important factor is the human capital. Because in order for you to use big data, you need to have a new set of skills. New set of training. And I can say that because we at the Walton College, we are training and we're preparing our students, right, to the job market.
And they're going out to those 3PLs, to those other logistic companies?
And to the retailers, right, and to the vendors, with those skills that are required for people to operate in this new world that requires the use of big data.
So what are the main inhibitors and facilitators of big data used in retail supply chain?
Right, so the first one, of course, is the lack of skills. The human capital.
The human factor.
The second one, and this was very interesting when we were doing our research, we were not expecting that. When you ask people, what is big data? They can't tell you the concept based on the concept that I just gave you. But in reality, as you begin to ask questions and survey them and interview them, you see that actually they're thinking in terms of their ERP systems and their business intelligence. And big data is not only about that, because big data has 4 factors. The first one is the volume, so it has to do with a lot of data measured in bytes. The second one is the variety. So we talk in terms of the transactional data that comes predominantly from the ERP. But we also need to talk about environmental data that comes from videos, from weather patterns, and so on and so forth. And also the consumer perspective, or the consumer data that comes from conversations, especially from social media. The third element of big data is the velocity. Has to be in real time. And finally, the veracity. Data has to be trustworthy and reliable and dependable. But people, when they talk about big data, they're considering only the massive amount of data that comes from their ERP, or if they're considering business intelligence, they're thinking in terms of batch processing. And big data has to be as close as possible to real time.
So say I work for a CPG company. Annabelle, how can using big data help me?
It can help you in different ways. It depends on what your strategy is. If it's reducing costs or improving services. In our research, we saw that firms are achieving different results depending on who they are, what capabilities they have, and how they are working collaboratively with their supply chain partners. Not only Sam's Club and Walmart, but also 3PLs and vendors. So you need to focus, what is your strategy? How are you going to use big data? And we find trade-offs. Definitely, if you improve service, you may need to sacrifice a little bit efficiency. And if you're going for the way of cost, unfortunately, you may lose in terms of service. In terms of on-shelf availability,
and it's finding that balance that really works.
Yeah.
So what kind of results are suppliers getting from successfully using the big data?
Definitely, they're achieving a competitive advantage. We could find that through our survey and based on our interviews as well. But the use of big data is still very elusive, and only a few firms are really mastering that.
And you're helping them right now try to figure out that whole how to use that.
We are helping in many ways. One clearly is by doing research and providing tailor-made results. The other one is trying to prepare the new workforce that is required to operate in this new environment.
Thank you, Annabelle. When we come back, Annabelle will give us ways suppliers can improve their business and their partnerships with retailers using social media. Saturday morning meeting will continue shortly.
K-Stack, the leader in collaborative retail consolidation programs. We offer the supply chain expertise needed to navigate the challenges of selling products with the world's largest retailers. And we provide customers with a customizable, scalable, environmentally sustainable supply chain with the same advanced technology typically used by larger rivals. By leveling the playing field, K-Stack lowers distribution costs and increases overall margins. K-Stack, retail logistics is what we do.
Bentonville Plaza, across the street from the Walmart home office. The best office location offers proximity and services like no other business complex in the area. Call 479-659-1260 today.
My colleagues and I were lucky enough to have a custom course put together for us by Ethan Walton and Iris, our instructor. It focused on all the different aspects of what an analyst might need from retailing to work with Walmart. I think what surprised me most is that there were so many things that I had not been using in Retail Inc. that would be valuable for me and that I hadn't attempted to use yet. And also just some tips and shortcuts. Iris has a lot of experience, and she knows how to help you find things that are going to help you do your work.
Welcome back to Saturday Morning Meeting. So social media has been a hot topic lately, but I'm sure suppliers are wondering how important it is to their businesses. So we talked about big data in the beginning, and now we're going to talk a little bit more about social media. So how can social media bring positive outcomes to Walmart, Sam's Club, and the suppliers?
Okay, well, clearly it can bring in terms of brand loyalty, brand recognition, but since I am in supply chain management, I'd like to talk about that.
Okay.
And let me begin with an analogy. So you may remember a few years ago, Google was able to predict the outbreak of flu in this country. And that was because they were looking at searches that people were doing when they contracted the symptoms. And of course, it takes a while for you to really manifest.
So people weren't necessarily going onto social media and saying, hey, I have the flu, but they were actually able to go down and kind of see what people were doing. Okay.
Now, when it comes to an application for the firms here, when we look at the data, of a campaign that relies heavily on social media. Okay. And you just look on a map over time, you can see contagion patterns as well. And there is a clear reason for that. Okay. When people not only communicate through the virtual world, but also face-to-face.
Right.
So when you begin to connect and interact with other people, you become aware of a campaign. And then you go and you buy, and when you buy and you experience the product, you go back and you post your experience with the product. So that's why we see a diffusion, a contagion happening. It starts at the local level, at the neighborhood level, town level, city, county, and then it spreads.
So you're tracking the data and kind of what's happening with the social media campaigns to try to give us an idea of how well it's working.
Correct. Okay. And you can see the buzz happening and the sales happening as well. So if we can use that data before something happens, we in supply chain, we can do our job, which is to position inventory and to make inventory available at the right distribution centers and at the right stores before things happen.
So supply chain is thinking that far ahead.
Correct. We need to do that, right?
Wow. So what's an example of a relevant social media campaign that was run by a supplier?
Right. So I worked with a local supplier, and they ran a campaign that relied heavily on social media, and it was very interesting because usually when we talk about social media, we talk to people in marketing. Right. And the marketing folks were very happy because they had a sales lift of over 30%, in some cases over 40%. Okay. They were very happy. But then when you go and you look at the data, the supply chain data, then we revealed or we found some problems, some issues. Because when we have a very successful campaign and you sell a lot, then you begin to incur the risks of stocking out.
Right, right.
So they didn't have product available, but gladly they were able to recoup during the campaign. So towards the end of the campaign, they were able again to make inventory available. So the more you sell, and we see this over and over again in supply chain. The more you sell, you ramp up production, but once you get at the end of the campaign, you may be left with a lot of overstock.
Right, exactly. A lot of companies do that. So the big data, looking ahead, kind of looking at all different factors, is really where you guys are moving towards. and what a lot of your research is about.
Correct, because big data is the enabler for multi-channel and omni-channel retailing. Now, in order for supply chains to be able to deliver the products whenever and whatever the consumers need and want, they will have to rely heavily on big data to anticipate the moves that need to be made.
Well, it sounds like the future is here. And it sounds like you're right on the cusp of getting that information and looking for that.
Couldn't be at a better place.
If you want to become a smarter supplier, utilize big data for your supply chain and social media data for your forecasting. To learn more about Annabelle's case studies, go to 8thandwalton.com. Saturday morning meeting, we'll be right back.
Are you a single parent struggling to meet your family's needs? Single Parent Scholarship Fund is here to help. Single Parent Scholarship Fund of Northwest Arkansas helps hundreds of single parents get an education. By providing scholarships and support, a brighter future is right around the corner for you and your family.
We should know, in 2007, I graduated with my bachelor's degree in organizational management. Single Parent Scholarship Fund helped make my dream a reality. My kids are so proud of me, and now they declare themselves as college-bound.
I would recommend 8th and Walton to other suppliers because from my experience talking to other suppliers, they were even learning new ideas or just new and better business practices.
Most people have little time for training, and so 8th and Walton is a perfect opportunity to send your new employees to understand the retailing system. And again, because trainers were suppliers, they know the how and the why, so they become very valuable very quickly.
Our thanks to all of today's guests. Watch next week and become a smarter supplier. You'll learn the impact of digital on data analysis, influencer marketing, and more. For our February special, Social Marketing, you'll learn the tips, tools, and strategies to help make this year's social marketing plan your best yet. I'm Andy Shook, and from all of us at Saturday Morning Meeting, thanks for watching.
I walk in every day and I just take a deep breath and I'm like, I can't believe where it's gone, where it's come to. Blood, sweat, and tears, and then some. Everything to build the company where it's at. I'm Billy Westbrook, and Scrub Blade is an idea I had. I wondered, why don't wiper blades scrub your windshield? If they're going back and forth, why don't they scrub the windshield while they're doing it? You know, I was making barely any money to survive. I was living on an air mattress at a friend's house, completely stripped down to nothing. It's just me. I was like, I'm going to give this 100% and see what happens with it. And that was in 2006. It's 2014 now, and I've never stopped. In the journey of Scrub Blade, we had a huge opportunity to do a big test with Walmart. And if I would have worked all those 8 years and neglected my business credit, I wouldn't have had the biggest opportunity of our journey. Dun & Bradstreet Credibility is a huge partnership for Scrub Blade. They share the knowledge really well, go through your credit rating with you and explain what this means and what that means. We're starting a big test with AutoZone, and I mean, they're the largest automotive retailer in the world. It's gonna take our company to the next level and beyond. What drives me, what keeps me going, is my family. Yeah. My job is to take care of my family, and it gives me a lot of pride to know that I can do that. And at the same instance, Dun & Bradstreet Credibility is taking care of me, or my entity, Scrub Blade. I mean, it's still a small company, but big in my eyes. We want to have fun with it. We want to bring people in along for the journey. You know, life's a journey. Get a clearer view. That's what Scrub Blade's tagline is, and it means everything.